Syndra and Jace especially could just take some of those squishy members on the side of Liv Sandbox and just pop them like a balloon. So it'll be interesting to see how the side of Liv Sandbox does handle it. I do agree with you. I think the top lane is going to be a lot of focus there, and especially because we saw Rich overextending a lot in the Kespa Cup. So maybe trying to take advantage of that could be their win condition tonight.
Completely agree. I think a lot of pressure on Kroko in this game. In the early game, he is going to have to make some plays. He is going to have to be aggressive. That's what he's so famous for so early on in his career, for those who watched Kespa Cup, especially on the Olaf. So I think the pressure is on this young, new player, first time in the LCK, up against veteran Peanut in the jungle. If he can make some plays, I think they absolutely can win this early game.
For sure. So guys, let's hop into game number 1 right now. Here we are for match 3. Nongshim Red Force up against Liv Sandbox. And these teams have already butted heads 4 times here with the new roster changes. First, we're not going to hold the top lane counter pick. And Effort goes ahead and picks Leona anyway.
And Nara's been picked a lot early, as we do see actually a nice hook here.
Oh man. Well, Effort's dead. Just like that,
Master
first
curse.
blood. That's going to be yeah. I mean, that's just like, oh man. Effort better.
He has
yeah.
He has you know, safe mid lane matchups and farm on the spectrum, you know, on his
CS going to be missed there. Notice the top lane, that gap is also widening pretty largely as they're going to go for the root here onto Effort. Another hook going to come in. The flash available, but they're just trying to trade it back onto Kellen, who does take a ton of damage, but again, up into the top lane as Rich will look to take an aggressive trade, but that might just mean his doom, as there is really nowhere for him to run. Just going to be taken down as Kroko takes that kill. And
immediately Drake and push this bot turret. So it's a better trade for them overall. In terms of the gold, obviously it's fairly even. They actually don't even get that last bit of the turret in the top lane. So
don't change it, as Kellen has to be careful here. That's going to be a pretty late blade coming out there from the Leona, but he's dead, it looks like, anyway, as Duckdom, though, trying to come in with the big carry. He's got that crescendum rolling, as Kellen is going to survive as well. Fate jumping in there, trying to make something happen at the end of that
push
one.
In, make a pick happen, punish anything. And they're not so far behind in gold where it's just not fightable. Like, they have to be decisive here. Look for a pick, look for an engage, and finally they are now.
Yeah, well, they've got Meganar, so they say, okay, let's charge in, see what we can get going. Meganar times out, and already, you know, the one-item power spike is coming in here as, okay, there's my stream back again. The Rift Herald is going to go down, as you may need to take over, Wolf. My stream's having a little bit of...
All right, well, we're going to see Rich isolated here on the side. He's stunned up, is going to continue to engage and does a bunch of damage there. Effort has to run away. Summit just barely able to escape over the wall, and nobody dying on the side of Liv Sandbox here. Bay is down, but everyone's so low health that this is still a 3v3 fight now around the Herald. And we'll, you know, Will Smike, what's he gonna do? It's just so risky to actually commit. As Duckdom is like, yeah, so while you guys are being indecisive, another turret, by the way.
Yeah,
just gonna grab some
third turret of the game.
Yep.
Okay, Ragnarok coming out here a bit late, but again, they're just setting up a concave and saying, okay, I dare you to try to take the Mountain Drake. They're going to take a ton of damage from that mountain, and of course the poke that comes in, and another Drake is going to go the way of Nongshim, so they're one away from the Mountain Soul. Yep, this is the big one. They kind of just have to win this fight, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. Effort takes about 30% of his health already from the Mountain Drake, so not the best start, but here we go. We'll see how the poke comes in. You see that a Shock Blast on the Summit isn't going to do too much. They got to hit that squishy backline. They'd love to hit Fate and Root if possible. As aggro on the Drake goes back to the side of Nongshim. Gonna leash here just a bit. Hook gonna sail wide. As Root Gale forces the stun that comes out. Okay, a sleep here onto Peanut could be huge. There's that burst I was talking about, and that's gonna give control of the pit over to the side of Liv Sandbox. Able to lock down that Mountain Drake. And more poke coming out here. Fate literally trying to single-handedly carry his team back into the game, as Effort now going to get that engaged down onto Bay. And they do chase them off the objective. So you see there almost 4,000 damage coming out from Fate as he just single-handedly pokes.
It's very low, right? And I mean, even with the amount of range that Nongshim has, bullet time isn't that useful. They're again vision control of this Drake, and they're just trying to rush it down with the clear time they have, and they're probably gonna get it.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get this one here. Smited down by Peanut, and all of a sudden, Root gets caught out. This is messy. For the side of Liv Sandbox, over the wall comes Rich. That's going to be another one of them poked out from the get-go here. So now 5-on-3 with Baron buff. And Nongshim, you know, they were struggling a little bit after losing that last team fight. They want to make a big movement here and try to close this game out. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to end it, but they want to get a insurmountable lead, perhaps.
Kellen's just added more of these to his turret collection this game. He grabs another one on his way to this inhibitor. Isn't able to get the inhibitor turrets. Kellen's going deep!
Kellen trying to add some more Pog votes if he didn't already have enough. Although, did they just overextend here? Nice flight once again coming in. Effort desperately trying to get in there and do it, but not able to do too much. They're at least able to get the one kill as the stun comes out and pushes Summit away, as he will get away. So the Baron still on the majority of the members here of Nongshim, and they get this inhibitor at 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I'm going to grab this Scuttle, set up for Drake vision control, which is, again, so important. Well, I say that, it's actually stolen away. Or is it? Yeah, it's stolen away. I was pretty sure Croco actually nailed that. That's actually huge, because, again, that last fight, as we're going to take a look at this Baron rush down, and box placement's really nice here. Just not much you could do, unfortunately. It feels like the walls were closing in on Liv Sandbox. They saw Baron disappear before their eyes, and then they just decided to kind of go for it because they didn't want to give up another objective. This is insane.
I mean, he was reading that from the back. Like he knew the portal jump was coming in. You have to pre-fire that death sentence essentially to make sure that that one does land. And at the end of the day, you could see that Summit flashes forward for that kill, and there were no objectives after that, you know?
Yeah.
And now he doesn't have his flash for the way more important fight here over this Mountain Drake that's about to spawn.
At least they got the Scuttle, so we can see a little bit more control from Fate again, because he has long-range vision to do that damage to proc Horizon Focus. But still, I mean, look at the way the team is cut in half right now. Effort is struggling to do anything. All the orbs are just on top of him.
Yeah, and that's a pretty little cooldown at this point. We'll see if he can get it back later on in the fight. That's going to be the kill going to actually Duck Dom on the side of Nongshim here, as I don't know what that solar flare was. Now Effort is just going to have to flash away. In goes Croco, is able to get a huge Gore Drinker stack there, but even the bullet time not really able to do much. Summit coming in here, and everybody on the side of Liv Sandbox just filtering in one by one. This is not what you... As the rest of the members super low, and it looks like Nongshim might just look for the end now.
Yeah, it looks like this is just going to be a good old GG at the end of this game. No light at the end of the tunnel anymore for Liv Sandbox. Even after that one incredible fight from Fate, there is just simply no way out. Too indecisive. Nongshim again out-rotating, out-macroing with this Aphelios pick, getting tons of turret plates early. Very impressive macro game once again.
Absolutely. Kind of see how it all went down here, and it was a pretty, you know, steady linear graph there on the gold difference. There was that big fight towards the end, and yeah, once again, just a pretty straightforward one there. The most damage actually going to the Jace, as those accelerated shock blasts were.
Welcome back everybody to the 2021 LCK Spring Split Analyst Task. Today we'll be joined by Subin Yoon, and also we have a new crew joining the LCK, and Gorilla is making his debut here in the LCK. Forced transition as an analyst. Once again, we're joined by P3 for 2 days in a row. Even though I have been on camera for a long while, well, I'm really nervous right now. What's your mindset for this split? Now I've got a new job. I will do my best in order to provide the best show for the fans. We have a clash between two teams with new sponsors. And this time around, we saw B1 Nidalee coming in from Nongshim. Traditionally, Well, Nidalee is a champion who can deal with Olaf, and also after they banned out Leah, they were kind of forcing the opponents to lock in Olaf. Leaf Sandbox did manage to pick up DM's high priority picks, however, they were kind of following the plan on the side of Nongshim. And Nongshim was really feeling comfortable giving away those picks to the hand of Leaf Sandbox. For example, Nar.
네, 저도 좀 의문인 게 이제 나르가 얼마나 이제 연습 과정에서
I have a bit of a doubt about Nar because he has not won a single game here in the LCK so far, but still, teams are trying to try this on the Rift for competitive games. Leona Nar actually got countered by the opponents. So I think it was a very comfortable game for Nongshim. Leaf Sandbox, they were too kind of focused on some picks like Renekton, so they were not aware of the fact that actually Jace can come in and become a huge counter for Nar. And Aphelios and Syndra, those are the traditional carry players that can perform and put a lot of damage in the backline as well. So we can say Nongshim had a very well balanced comp overall. So let's take a look at this highlight where Leaf Sandbox was looking for a pick onto Thresh, but Nongshim bite backed really well. They were trying to engage a Thresh, but Kellen was well aware of this situation, so he moved, sidestepped a little bit, and he was able to dodge the skill from Leona. And well, the ideal play for Leaf Sandbox was actually they could just engage if they landed the undertow, or if it had not, well, they could just back, but they were over eager, looking for some picks and points in that fight. Leona's skill went wide. Every single skill, including her flash, was wasted in this fight. Nongshim Red Force was definitely having a better performance in this game. And let's take a look at the sneaky Baron try from Nongshim Red Force that closed out the game in the end. Aphelios and Nidalee, they can burst Baron really fast, and Sandbox was not really aware of this. And with the attack speed buff from the healing of Nidalee, they could just two players could burst down this Baron. Well, Leaf Sandbox managed to stop their Dragon Soul in the earlier Drake fight. However, they were not able to stop them from killing this Baron. This kind of Baron try was based on the vision priority and also the lane priority that Nongshim had. Nongshim Red Force were flexing on the opponents with their experience and also mechanics in this game. On the other hand, it looked like Leaf Sandbox was not on the same page. Now it's time to see who the POG is, and it's gonna be Deokdam. A lot of people actually warned about this blue side of Aphelios, and also if you give it over to Deokdam, who has been popping up recently on the solo queue and also during the Caspa Cup, I don't think it was the best choice to actually just let it pass through the pick and ban. And that solo kill was mainly because they got traded so bad in the earlier phase. And because of that, Aphelios, Leaf Sandbox was feeling too much pressure during team fights. When Aphelios is intact during the team fights, actually it's really difficult for the Leaf Sandbox players to kind of go into and dive onto the opponents. Dokdam shared some votes with his bottom duo partner, which means Kellen also was showing a great performance.
바위개를
양보를 하는 모습을 보면서
Well,
이거
we
이런
once
애가 아닌데.
saw like Peanut letting the teammates take the Scalded Crab, which kind of tell us that he is really trusting his teammates, because Gorilla said that's really familiar to him.
있기 때문에 나온 플레이가 아닌가 싶습니다.
그리고 계속해서 나르가 나오면서 함정 카드 역할을 하고
And we are keep saying that Nar is a trap card here in the LCK. So I wonder who were kind of spreading this rumor that Nar is the strong pick in the current meta. Maybe someone was popping off on this champion during the scrims, but for the LCK match, we're not really sure whether it's that viable. Now it's time to move on to game number 2, back to our casters.